Let me chant you shloka 16 to 20 and then see how many we cover. That would be our goal. So may Lord Krishna support this teaching. Na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayos tatvadarshibhihi. This is 16. Avinashi tu tat vidhi, yena sarvamidam tatam, vinashamavyyasyasya na kaschit kartumarhati. This is 17. Antavanta ime deha nityasyukta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmat yutyasva bharata. This is 18. Ja enam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhauto na vijanitaha nayam hanti na hanyate. This is 19. And then as you saw in chapter 1, that sometimes the verse completely changes in its meter, especially when there are more words and when the Guru is teaching and wants to emphasize, then the meter changes to Najayate mriyate va kadachina nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha na hanyata hanyamane sharire. So this is verse 20. So let us begin with the study of verse 16. And as a reminder, I want to tell you that in verse 12, you had been exposed to the concept of word called nitya. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. So in verse 12, he has said that there was never a time when these kings were not there. The people that you are seeing, the kings and their soldiers, and and there was never a time that they will not exist, and so in the future. So what he was really introducing was the concept of a consciousness, which is Atma, that is forever existent. So there was a teaching around the immortal self. That is, so it's a poetic way of saying, it's not that the kings per se in their clothes and boots and soldiers were there, but it is like that their self is always there. So this was already an introduced aspect in verse 12. And then to strengthen that, he talks about in verse 13 that it is the body that transforms from childhood, kaumaram, it goes through youth, and then there are transformations happening, and then it becomes old, and then it ends, but the self remains the same. So this happens in verse 13, and because he's about to give more teaching, Lord Krishna then changes the topic briefly on verse 14 and 15, and he talks about a student, because he's now going to further teach what nitya means really. When we say that the self is always here, it's today here in front of Arjuna, It was in the past and it will be in the future. What does that mean? So then he briefly stops to teach about nididhyasanam, or the third stage of listening or understanding, because we get disturbed by hot and cold. It's too hot, so I cannot contemplate on Bhagavad Gita, or it's too cold, so I think I will just stay in my comforter and not log on to the webinar. Or dukkha sukha, I have received an email and it's not something I was expecting, so I'm suffering from a mini shock, so I will not show up for class. Or I have too much sukha, I have been waiting for a date forever, and finally somebody from eharmony.com has pinged me, if that's the word, ping, or send me a message or something. So now I think I'll catch the Bhagavad Gita later. So what happens is a student takes their sukha, dukkha, and their ego gets carried away where? Back into the world of appearances, back into the world of changes. So therefore Lord Krishna in 14:15 is actually talking to you, the student. And he's saying that, these are coming and going. What is anitya? These experiences are anitya. So you are nitya, he's saying to the student. And so you are a transcendental truth. You are pure perfection. Whereas these senses, everything which is surrounding you, made up of gross or subtle matter, which is body, which is mind, which is intellect, all of these things, these are finite projections around you. And experiences are coming and going through them. So he says that you should employ titiksha, you should endure them. You should endure them knowing that what has risen shall end. For example, every time a new thought arises, the old thought has to die. Do you know that? So in mind, there is constant ends happening before there is a new beginning. Similarly, your intellect keeps growing from childhood onwards. Every new idea, your intellect grows voraciously. But it keeps growing, so it's never the same. That is why when, Aparna was writing Sadhana Chatushtayam, she said, Shunyaji, every day I write and I have grown so much more than yesterday. So I said, it's true. This is an issue with an author, because every day you're growing. So if you start writing 10 days ago, 10 days later, when you look at your old chapter, it's already old, which means that the intellect is also a place of constant change. Similarly, your body is, we all know, every minute you are aging. Every minute the cells are dying, you are being born, things are happening. So body, mind, and intellect, even at the level of intellect, old ideas are dying, new are being replaced. So there's constant change, and in that constant change, whatever changes, there is the experience of sukha, joy and sorrow, which carry us away. So, and this is all anitya. This is all what is transitory. It is not. It all undergoes an extinction at some. It emerges and then it extincts. And so, what is the attitude that we should have? We should endure them. And then he says that the student or the seeker who starts becoming more sama, balanced in sukha dukkha, that person is known as dhiraha. Dhiraha is another word for jnani, the knower. Dhiraha means the one who has fortitude. So it's another word you can add to your vocabulary. So there is a Sanskrit word dhiraj. So when we say to some people to console them, we say have dhiraj. That's how we speak in Sanskrit, have dhiraj. So dhiraj comes from the root word dhir. Dhiraha means to be steadfast, through knowledge, not steadfast just through, there are two ways one becomes steadfast. In the yogic way taught by Lord Patanjali, sage Patanjali, sometimes we have a tendency to call sages also Lord, by the way, just to let you know. Bade Baba was often called Bhagwan by people, or Paramatma. So it's a very common thing because, all these sages have given us, unprecedented knowledge. So in yogic regimens or in Ayurvedic regimen, we can say no. Not just Patanjali's regimen, but in yogic Ayurvedic regimen, we say, you know, I have eaten sugar once, now I won't eat more, I will control my tongue. And there is one teaching in the yogic system. I don't know where it comes from. It's, I think, an oral yogic teaching to put your tongue on your palate and sit like that, or sit in mudra and, control yourself. So it's a way of enforcing the discipline. But the moment the discipline is not there, so say you forgot to be in the mudra, so you didn't put your tongue up or you didn't control yourself, then the senses go back again to the sugar or the cookie and they want to consume it. And that's why people have discipline, then they break it. They have discipline and they break it. But in Jnana Yoga or in the Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta that I'm teaching you, we don't want to control anything. We want all the sugar and everything there. We don't want to be in mudra. We don't want to put our tongue up there. We don't want to do it. We want to understand. So you see, it's operating at a level of understanding. We are understanding what I'm teaching you right now, that this desire for sugar will arise and the desire for sugar will subside. Even that desire for sugar is not nitya. You are nitya. You have a higher order of reality, a higher power, because what is anitya, what has emerged shall subside. So if you look at an ocean, it is the waves that are rising and subsiding. Ocean itself remains the same. So therefore, with every rise and fall of the wave, the ocean should not panic. The ocean should not say, oh my God, 10 of my waves have arisen, or 5 of my waves are dying. We should be in an observer mode to see. This is called understanding. So when the desire arises, we can understand that it has arisen, so it shall also subside. Or what has subsided shall arise again. I'm not home free yet. And these waves of desire, coming and going, this is going to happen. So therefore it says the person who becomes sama is the word, as you know, sama buddhi, sama agni, sama baddhi, sama agnishta, sama dhatu, malkriyana. This is an Ayurvedic shloka. So all the words sama is used. Sama means balanced agni, balanced dhatu, balanced dosha. That's in Ayurveda. So now he is saying that who is sama in what kind of doshas? Dukkha and sukha when they come. So what if we remember that, by the way, I am nitya and this sukha is coming, it is also anitya, and this dukkha is coming, it is also anitya. Then what will happen is that we start becoming a little more quietly, inwardly balanced. And this person in Shloka 15, Lord says, they get to taste the Amrit Kalpa, or the truth, the nectar of what? Of the self-knowledge, the truth. And so then now we have come to the Shloka 16 that I want to teach you. And in Shloka 16, there is a very interesting teaching. So in the Shloka 16, what we are trying to say is that this is a very foundational. So if in Shloka 12, you were exposed to one adjective of who you are, and what is that? You are Nitya. So you should write, I am Nitya, I am Nitya. And when you always say, I am Aparna. Now you should say, I am Nitya. I am Bhavani. No, I am Nitya. So Nitya is not just a name, a noun, but Nitya, that word. When you think that word, I am Nitya, it should immediately trigger in you knowledge about yourself. This is the way Baba taught me. And that I am Nitya. So Atma is Nitya, and everything Anatma, everything non-self is Anitya. So even this gallery of people you are seeing, including the body of this teacher, everything will be all gone in 67. Everything all gone. It will be completely replaced by new people. Everything you are seeing right now shall disappear. It is of an illusory nature. So Therefore, when you say Nitya, you have been exposed in Shloka 12. Please make that note, because one of your um, Mananam assignments would be the seven adjectives that describe you, and in which shloka do you find them. So in Shloka 12, you were introduced to that you are Nitya, and Shloka 12 and 13 confirm that. Now in Shloka 16, you are told that you are not your body, not your mind, not your intellect. You are also Satyam. Satyam is known as truth also, but a better explanation of truth, better explanation of truth and Satyam would be my exposition to you on the concept of what is real. So when I heard the definition of real, when I heard the difference between Satyam and Mithya, when I was 10, it blew me away. It blew me away. I have goosebumps right now remembering that time when, I heard about these shlokas. I mean, like yesterday we had, burnt my mother's body. And today Baba was expounding on shloka, 11 to 25 over the next 10 days. So for the consolation of the people. So little did he know that the power and impact that I had at that time was beyond words. I was 10, but my soul was ancient, Puranam, and I was absorbing this knowledge. And I think this knowledge then stayed with me. And in spite of my adventures in the land of appearances, Mithya, as we all do, it was Satyam ultimately that I'm having a love affair with. So what is real? That is the question. That's the question. So the Vedic rishis, the Vedantic rishis have said that that which was not in the past, that which was not in the past, and that which will not be in the future, but that which seemingly, okay, we agree, it exists in the present, but it was not in the past and it will not be in the future, then this is unreal. That which was non-existent in the beginning, that which is non-existent in the end, then it's probably non-existent in the intermediate state too. So probably if this world and its current way that you are looking at was not always there in the beginning, was not always there in the, will be till the end, you can't say that exactly this setup that you're looking at will be here, 200 years later. Also, there were so many towns, so many houses, so many people, so many shoes, boot, furniture. Where is it all gone? Gone and reduced in dust. All gone. New roads have been built. New townships have been built. New high-rises. There were castles and there were moats and there were boats and there were ships and there were pirates there and there were kings and there were soldiers and there were ministers and there were priests and there were prostitutes and there were grandiose halls and there was all gone. There was like a scene. It's like a cinema screen, gone. Next. Come on, okay, now everybody, Shunya, students, webinar, lamp, pen, glasses, all gone. 200-300 years, all gone. Nothing left. So probably then, Vedanta says If this was not there and it was not going to be in the future, it didn't even have a big, it's just there in the middle. Just like that, it just shows up. Probably then this is an illusion. Probably it is an appearance. It is an illusory appearance. It's not, they're not denying. They're not denying that you're seeing the body of Acharya Shunya. They're not denying it. They're not denying that you can see each other. But who is to say that this is the ultimate reality? That's the question. So this is called, there's a very specific word for it. It is called mithya. And only that which is mithya, which is the self, it defies all changes and it remains, because it is nitya, because even if there is somebody to observe all the changes, then only there has to be something that was observing it. It was observing it. And that observing self is called, real. And that is called Satyam. So I'll give you another example. For example, you went to sleep and you dreamt. And you dreamt that you have your parents are highly, you may have parents, you may not have parents, but suddenly in the dream you have parents and they are highly dependent on you and they can't walk and you're carrying them in a basket and you are taking them, here and there, and you are feeding them and you're running around and, going for a job, then cooking for them, then changing their diapers and doing all this thing. And you're constantly worried about your aging, infirm parents. And then when you wake up, you might actually be an orphan and you don't even have parents, or you had them and they're now gone, or they're healthy, or they are in Hawaii having a vacation, or one of them's getting married and the other one is, painting a painting, or something's happening. So the concern for the aging infirm parent and that experience, they were dream parents. There was a dream condition, and but they were not there before you went to bed, before you went into the dream. They are not there after you woke up from the dream. But in the dream, did you question that reality? You did not. You took that reality in the dream with as much conviction as you take this reality as the reality. And you can say to me, but Shunyaji, last night also you were my teacher, today also you're my teacher, and tomorrow I will also be your teacher. But when you will not be there, even if I'm alive, what's the point? I mean, our relationships are based on body, and this body, any one of us can check out, and then that algorithm no longer matters. So if something has to be Satyam, then it really has to define the characteristic that it was, is, and will be, and that you, yourself alone, your Atma, your soul has that characteristic, not your body, not your mind, not even your intellect, and nothing that you are greeting with your five senses. Nothing. Because even when you see me, you may say, oh, Shunya, from your eyes, I can see your soul. You cannot. You can only see my eyes. So whatever you are grasping with your five senses is not only anitya, but it is also mithya, while you alone are satyam. So the second adjective for you is that I am Satyam. Another example, these are all not my examples. I mean, every Vedanta teacher gives these examples, so I'll just give them to you. But, sometimes you see a lamppost at night, and it's like, it feels like somebody tall is standing there. Or you could look at a tree, and, and it's dark, and you might think there is a ghost and get really afraid of the ghost. But, and so you had like a projection, a hallucination that it's a ghost. But once you discover, or somebody points out to you that no, it's a post, or lamppost, or a tree, it's not a ghost, then the ghost doesn't exist. But till it existed, it could elicit a lot of fear and panic and screams and Om Bhurguvasvas from you. Could it not? In the same way, everything, take your body, take everything, everything you are looking at with your eyes is mithya, and you are Satyam. So this is what he's saying. To be specific, he's saying, he's saying that nasato vidyate bhavaha. So specifically, he's saying that there was and before I come to the exact words, let me give you some more understanding of it. So what this shloka is trying to tell us is that, and even if in your day-to-day life you can see that something can have inherent or intrinsic existence, and something can have borrowed existence. And let me give you an example. For example, even if you look in the realm of Ayurveda, then it is said that if you go to certain philosophies like Vaisheshika, etc., physics of the Vedas, it says that the 5 elements they're always there, the 5 elements. The 5 elements combine to form a body. They combine to form a heart, a liver, a body, a skin. But you take it apart, it goes back to 5 elements. So 5 elements have an intrinsic nature, and the body, or whatever they form a pot, they form an ornament, they form a living body, they form, Coca-Cola, whatever the 5 elements form, that is like a borrowed nature or an incidental nature. So, the inherent nature is known as swabhavika, swabhava, dharma, and the borrowed nature is called agantuka dharma. So, as I was, my swabhavika nature is silent and inward, and my agantuka dharma is public speaker, etc. So, and it's very clear to me when I'm observing what is what. So it's like that. So, whatever is agantuka or borrowed doesn't stay. And whatever is inherent does not go away. So this is what nasato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sataha ubhayorupi dishtontaha tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. This is what this shloka 16 is saying, and Krishna, Lord, is saying it in a very interesting but somewhat confusing way, because why will Lord make it like kindergarten level? After all, he is talking to advanced souls. So he's talking to the advanced souls, it will not feel confusing. And then there is the understanding that you're not reading it, because none of these texts in our tradition are meant to be read alone. They are meant to be received by the Atman of the teacher, utilizing the mithya to correspond with you. So he is saying that there is no existence for the unreal, which means he's saying mithya, or what is borrowed, or what has temporarily come together as an appearance, as an illusory appearance, has no existence. It doesn't have any real existence. It has artificial existence. It has hallucinatory existence. It has illusory existence. It has a phantasm-like existence. And he's saying there is no non-existence for the real. So in a way, he's saying that real alone exists. The truth of both these is indeed known by Tattvadarshi, which means the seers of reality. So he's saying that who are the seers of reality? Gradually, the goal is that you will also become the seers of reality. You will become the Jnani Purusha. You will become the Dhiraha. You will become the knowers, who are also known as Rishi, Sadhu, Yogi, and the seers of reality. So this is what he is saying. So have you seen how, have you been to desert? Have you been to a desert? And have you, if you just, if you just spend time looking at the desert, you will see that the sand rises in the wind, and within a few hours, the landscape changes. Where there were dunes, it becomes flat. Where it was flat, sand gets deposited. Suddenly there will be spirals, art in the sand, because the wind has blown a certain way and the sand is so ruksha, so light, that it just lifts up as if somebody is using a paintbrush. And, beautiful lines are drawn. So, for this, for so much motion and commotion and art and change and transfiguration and transformation and transmutation of the landscape to take place, of the soil and the sand, then there has to be a motionless bed of the earth underneath to hold it. And that motionless earth underneath, that moving, dancing, changing, now it's a dune, now it's a tower, now it's fallen apart, now it's a windstorm. That earth is Satyam, which is you. And all of these changing things is Mithya, which is your own body, your own mind, your own intellect. And people like to quickly see the Mithya outside. They look at their spouse and say, you are Mithya. But you are made up of Satyam plus Mithya. And you should know the difference between what is Atma and what is Anatma, non-self, which is Mithya. So similarly, a riverbed is another example that's given in Vedanta, that the river is flowing. Sometimes she's chuckling along, sometimes she's fast, gushing along, sometimes she's slow. All these changes are happening in the course of the river. It is said by the Buddhists that the river is never the same in one place. And for that change, to accommodate that change, there has to be a changeless riverbed. And that changeless riverbed is you. You are that unchanging reality underneath all, accommodating all the changes. So you are another example that can help you. It's a classic Vedantic example is of you are the string that is common to all the beads. And the beads can be of different sizes, and they can be different colors, and they can, go here and there, but the thread remains common. So, I myself in my life have been, I was reporting to you, I began this class, with some personal observations that are happening in the mithya, the speech, the memory, the non-desire to speak much, This is all happening at an outer level, but I who's reporting it is the same. And that is pure Atma, you know. So endless experiences, changes in the have come and gone and have birthed and died in my own body. So much food has come and gone and changed the body and aged the body and nourished the body. So many desires have come and gone. So many thoughts have come and gone. So much death has happened. So much birth has happened. But this awareness that I am, this Satyam, you know, I know because I was always there that I am the only unchanging witness to all these changes. That is why I can say that I was once silent, then I became talkative, then I am now silent. But I, who is observing this, remains unchanged. Because if I was also changing, everything was changing, who would report? So I am Satyam while the Mithya goes through changes. So we have already learned that I am Nitya and I am Satyam. And now let us go to Shloka 17. Avinashi tu tat viddhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. So in this shloka, we are learning two descriptions about ourselves, you know. And one of them is that he says that know, K-N-O-W, know that to be indestructible. So you are learning the word indestructible. Avinashi. Avinashi. Know that to be indestructible, by which all this is pervaded. So first let us look at, Avinashi. So Avinashi means, Vinash means to destroy. Avinash or Avinashism, you'll meet many Indian men with the name Avinash, which means indestructible. So Avinashi, I'm an Avina, Atma is Avinashi, means it is imperishable. So it's Avinashi or indestructible or imperishable is really a version of what is Nitya. You know, Atma is eternal. But when Lord Krishna is Lord Krishna. So he's Brahman. So he doesn't waste any words. He doesn't talk like us where we repeat ourselves for no reason. So if he's repeating something which is similar, even there a teacher shall point out to you that there is something subtle that he's trying to say. So, you know, when he declared that it's a matter of saying that yes, we are Nitya in terms of a continuation, you know, that because he said there was never a time when the soldiers were not there, they never will be, and they are now. So yes, there is a continuation. But when he uses this word indestructible, then what he's really saying is he's comparing it to how the fact that, you know, in the body, you know, something can be destroyed, you know, you can completely like lose a joint or an organ can go combust, or why the whole body can go kaput, right? And your mind, you know, people's mind doesn't work or they become brain dead and all these things can happen. So, you know, if you look at Mithya, you know, Mithya is pot, right? The pot has a presence today. But if you, but if you drop it, a clay pot, it's going to break. Similarly, if you pick up a human body and you drop it from just the right height, it's going to break, right? So why even a small height can create some damage. So but any damage to the body, to the mind, to the organs, to the house, to the relationships, but none of them translate to the Atma. Atma remains avinashi. So he's speaking from an unbroken sense, which, I like. I like knowing that I'm unbreakable. So in some of my previous satsangs, I have talked about how when due to a fall, the neck got compromised, and then there was pain, and there was a question around, well, so how much panchkarma can I do, and how many googles can I eat, and I'm not, and I'm a Vedantin, and so I started contemplating on my unbroken self, and that became an easier way for me to manage pain. Because my consciousness that's going in the neurons towards the pain starts going inwards, and I encounter my avinashi Atma, my soul, which is indestructible. So this, I'm using the word soul because I found out that many of you are comfortable with it, but you should really be careful not to use the the Christian terminology of soul, which is very different, and it's not very, it's not at all what not at all what Vedanta has, and it's really pure consciousness that we're talking about. So you can use the word soul or spirit or consciousness or Atman or self, but you must remember that this is a whole new paradigm. And by the way, even if this is your first class, it's all right, because what a class to start with, number one. And number two, it's okay. In this tradition, whatever your teacher teaches to you when you show up is the right teaching for you. So just trust that bigger karmic design that has brought you to this teacher and this classroom. And whatever you're receiving, it has significance to you beyond you just thinking, I'm a Sadasya, I joined up, I should take a class, all this mithya stuff, logistics. But the fact of the matter is that you already are that which you are being told about. So you are really being helped to remember who you are. And who you are, you can forget temporarily. Clouds can cover the sun, but only so long. And that is why hearing this knowledge acts more like, if somebody has forgotten temporarily who they are, then they go to a psychologist's office, and the psychologist reminds them, of photo albums, you are this person, you live here, you come from there. And then the person says, really? Are they talking about me? I am Nitya. I thought that I will die like everybody else has died. So I am Satyam. I am, Avinashi. But gradually, as you hear this and then you contemplate, and then you practice it from emotional pain to physical pain, you shall see that you are that. And what you are is your truth. And it will support you more than all the untruths you've told yourself, because mithya has no power, ultimately. So one thing that you're being told is, it is saying that know that to be know that means what? Know Atma, to be indestructible. And then the next, so it says, avinashi tu tad vidhi. Vidhi means know that. Vidhi literally means Krishna is kind of emphasizing to his student and saying, understand this clearly, internalize this, get this. Like my favorite word that I say, I've watched my videos sometimes and I say, do you get me? Do you get me? So does it make sense? So in a way, he's talking and he's saying, get this clearly. You are indestructible. And then the next line says, Vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartumarha. No. Then the second part of the first line says, Yena sarva midam tatam. And what he's saying is, the next part that he's saying is that not only are you indestructible, not only is Atma indestructible, but it is all pervading. So this is a very important, so all pervading, and the Sanskrit word for it is called Sarvagata, Sarvagata, Sarvagata. That means all pervading. Sarvagata, you can say it's Sarvagata. Another word that means all pervading is Vyaptam. Vyaptam yena characharam. You have studied in the Guru Shloka. Vyaptam, Vyaptam, Vyaptam. That's another word for what is spread. So now pay attention. So now see, one, nobody can destroy this Atma. So in brackets he's saying, so therefore, what is Bhishma? Bhishma is Atma. What is Dronacharya? He's Atma. So you're not going to destroy anything. Another thing he says is, Yena sarvam idam tatam. So now he says that not only is yourself eternal, nitya, not only is it real, satyam, not only is it undestructible or unperishable, avinashi, but it is also vyaptam or sarvagata or all pervading. Now, so now this is a game changer. This is a game changer. What Lord is saying here, what you are being told is that your Atma, not talking about any other Atma, yourself, is also spread everywhere. So it is also the self of your dog or cat or bird or mouse. It is also the self of every ant. It is also the self of every bird. It is also the self of every enemy of yours. It is also the self of every friend. It is the self of your teacher. It is the self of even Ishvara, because Ishvara also has self. So anything that is sentient, we are expecting Ishvara to be sentient, God. That self is same. There is only one alone self. Common sense self. Now, so behind your body there is Atma. Behind my body there is Atma. Behind Aparna's body there is Atma. Okay. Behind Gail's body there is Atma. Okay. Behind Jennifer's body there is Atma. Everybody's body there is Atma. But this Atma is the same Atma that is spread everywhere. It is Sarvagataha. This is very interesting. So think about it, that if you look at clay pot, clay spoon, clay plate, and all the clay items that are made everywhere in the world, everywhere. Spanish clay crockery, Indian clay crockery, village clay crockery, children have made clay items. Every clay item is pervaded by what? Clay. Every gold ornament is pervaded by what? Gold. So anywhere that there is life, intelligence, bliss, what is it pervaded by? Atma, the fundamental substance. And so therefore, this Atma is considered as the 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 formless support of this whole world of form, the permeated with the one Atma. That is why the Hindus say Namaste. I bow to the common self in both of us. Namaste. That is what it means. I recognize that the self in you and the self in me is the same. This is what Namaste means. So this had developed so much because all the students at one time went to Gurukulams and studied with teachers in a Sampradaya. So even when the opposing armies would come in the beginning, they would bow. This was the protocol. Because, okay, we are going to do our worldly transactions, but for a moment they would remember. Now we don't know what Namaste means, so we just think it's a greeting. But we are doing naman to that asti, to that common existence which is there. Okay, we are bowing to that. So therefore, in this one, this shloka 17, we are learning that avinashi tu tadvidhi. So pay attention that you are indestructible, avinashi, and you are yena sarvamidam tatam, you are spread everywhere. And no one, in the second line, they say, no one, not even God, can destroy your Atma. When no one is said, it means not even God, means no one can destroy Atma, because Atma is God. So therefore, nobody can destroy you. This Atma is Ishvara Swarupam. That is why Atma is Ishvara, because Ishvara also is at this level, with this power of Nitya, Satyam, Avinashi, Sarvagataha. We have covered 4. This is the features of Atman. And instead of Nitya, the world of change, the world of appearances is Anitya. Instead of Satyam, it is Mithya. And how can the world of form be all-pervading? You see, the moment when you want something to be all-pervading, it has to become subtle, and it has to lose its form. Only then it can be all-pervading. So to be all-pervading, what we are really learning is that it's formless to be all-pervading. So it's like the most the subtlest of the subtle is Atma, so that it can be all-pervading. If something has form, then it gets limited by that form. If Atma looked like a cow, then it excludes everything else. If Atma looks like a turtle, then it excludes everything else. And this is why even Ishvara is not given any form, because if the moment you give Ishvara a form, I mean, I know that the artists make, Lord Krishna look like this and that, but this is all human images. But the real concept of Atma / God is Sarvagataha, all-pervading and formless. And just because they are formless doesn't mean they are weak, because the formless is dwelling in the form and empowering it. And this is the nature of Atma. And I think I should stop here. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityormamritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Thank you, Lord Krishna, for teaching us this amazing teaching. Whatever we get, even a few drops of it, can begin us on some contemplations that we would otherwise never have had. So let us bravely go forth and think some all new ideas about the self. Jai Ma, everyone. Take care.